I know you guys see that. I have to go live tonight because I went on with Jeff the other day. I didn't get to talk about everything I wanted to. Marcus was on there, which was a great, I thought, interview with him. What I'd like for you guys to do is, if you got questions, you can. I'm not going to look too much over there because I've got 4 sheets of paper I kind of want to get into a little bit to clear up some misinformation mainly tonight. Probably about a third of it tonight is going to be a lot of misinformation about our bats. I suggest, and I'll go into that in a minute, about we're getting a lot of requests about being a rep. And I'm going to tell you what you have to do to get your foot in the door about being a rep. Because we're not like, we do things different. We're not like all these other bat companies. And I cannot believe how many of our reps don't watch the podcast and then say things that don't make sense, or even say things that's not even true about our bats. I'll talk about that in a minute. I know that because we have a rep channel, and each time that we go on Wednesdays and we go on Fridays, never Rachel. We go on Wednesdays or Fridays, and whenever we go on, I constantly see the reps talking to each other and not watching. And then they kind of look bad whenever somebody asks them a question and they pop off and say something, and it's not right. It's not true. And they don't understand, but they don't watch the podcast. So what tonight's going to be is a lot of misinformation out there that's going to be cleared up. Guys, if you haven't got on that YouTube channel, it doesn't cost anything. Join it. Go under, it's Short Porch Cutting Edge. Short Porch Cutting Edge across the board on a lot of my stuff. The website is shortporchcuttingedge.com. There's a lot of information and reviews on there. Those reviews are being shared with Short Porch Baseball Company 2. Facebook, TikTok. I'm growing my YouTube, my Instagram channel back because that was hijacked. Can't get it back. My TikTok channel is still going. I cannot get into my TikTok channel. I've got probably around 20 videos waiting to be put on TikTok Shorts, and I can't get into it. I'm trying, but it's been 2 weeks. And I guess because that one person hacked my channel across the board, it kind of froze up a lot of stuff. They even broke into my eBay account too. Tried to get into my PayPal account, but they couldn't. Dang, man, I'm smoking it tonight. I already got 24 people, 27 people. You know why? Not too many tournaments going on this weekend. I'm going to go through some things tonight. I'm going to try to not keep it really long. I'm only going to talk about a few bats, guys, because we talked about a lot on Wednesday. Tonight's that channel that I want to talk to you guys about. And just give you and this is, I talked to a few people the other day, Trey and Clem, especially a couple of days ago, and I'm kind of talking to them about taking over what I do at the videotaping and kind of passing the torch to them. I am 65. I don't know, because, and like I told them, the younger generation is coming, and I think it's hard for them to listen to a guy that's 15 years older than them. Well, hell, more than that. I'm thinking, I'm thinking 50s, which I should be, because 40s. I remember playing ball in 40s. 41. I think I retired in 42 when I was 42, but in 41 I was killing it. I mean, I was, I was just flat out killing it. And when I was 42, 41. But what I want to do is, so you guys don't miss out, because our young guys, our 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds guys are taking off. There's senior ball's getting, bigger. I think what talked about 1.5 million, there's 800,000 last couple of 3 years, and that's 1.5, 1.4 million into it now. It's only going to grow. It's only gonna get bigger. I'm going to kind of go off a little bit tonight on not some people, but some things that are going on that I see. And the one thing about, and Clem and Trey do this too, is the one thing that I do is I keep a pulse on the social media. I don't talk a lot on it, but I know what's going on around everything that's going on with softball. Not so well. I can say not so much of the conference, because there wasn't conference when I was growing up and playing ball. We had big tournaments, but it wasn't nothing like conference ball. Right now, if you guys remember, and I'm gonna, this is one of those sayings that a lot of the old guys do, is a lot of the old guys talk about, but back in my day, and a lot of younger kids don't want to hear that shit, because it ain't going back. It ain't going back to way when I was growing up, when everybody was 6'5", 6'6", and 250, 300 pounds. There was something that was said, and I'm kind of going to go off script and just look at some stuff. And the softball players in the conference now aren't like that anymore. Everybody, I can remember Howards and Steels and, Smythe Sox and those big teams like that had big guys, nothing but big guys on the team. But I will, the one thing I do is Mike in Franchise puts out some pretty interesting questions that he asks a lot of people. And he has that, I have him on Facebook, so I kind of listen to what he has to say. And one of the questions was, are steroids more prevalent in today's softball games as it was in the 80s and 90s? I don't think it is. I do think it's still here, but the generation has gotten more faster, bigger, stronger, faster without the bigger. They do still have a few of those guys, but I don't think, and he's talking, I don't think he's talking much about the seniors. I don't see, and I'll answer that question on the seniors. I don't see a lot of roided up senior players. You cannot throw testosterone replacement therapy in there. That's one thing you cannot do. You cannot sit there and go, well, you're taking testosterone and you're considered. No, you're not. It's just, you're not. And I don't argue with me. What you're doing is you're not overdoing it. You're bringing you're seen by a doctor when you're doing TRT, right? So you're bringing your levels to where you have your quality of life is back, right? And you heal faster. You don't put on the big weight. Your estrogen levels aren't skyrocketed because your testosterone's so low. So TRT, you can't throw that at us on that senior market. We want to feel better. We want to work out, and we want to recover. We don't want to have brain fog. We don't want to sit around the house, so we get on TRT. We're not dosing mega doses of TRT, guys. It's a prescription that we get from our doctor. Mine is around 800. You're talking about steroids, guys. You're talking about dosing. From what I've heard in the past, you're looking at, bringing that testosterone level up to the 2000s. So plus 2000s plus. And then it's not even considered one of your top steroids out there. It's not even, if you got a big guy out there, I guarantee you, 80% of them are not on TRT. They're not on testosterone. They're on some other kind of steroid. I don't even think testosterone's in that steroid category, from what I can see. That's just my opinion. Nothing too, guys. I'm gonna talk about tonight is just my opinion. I don't listen to people. This is things that I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight that are just, it feel it pisses me off, and I don't understand. I just don't understand the I'll talk about that in a minute. That's there. That turns in, like, I got my bullet points. That's in the shaving part of the bullet points. Um, but is steroids? You see a lot of steroids, and nowadays that you did back in the 80s, guys. I played it in the 80s, and a lot of you guys can't answer that question, but I can. I played in the 80s. If you wanted to make it big time in the 80s, you had to juice. You had to juice. If you were taller, you know, you were if you were taller, and in the 80s and 90s, when it was real, when a lot of people were doing it, if you were taller, you had a shoe in. You know, your foot was already in the door. Playing with the big guys, I've watched them. I pitched against them back in the day. They were some monsters, man. They were some freaking monsters out there. I don't see that now. I don't see that. You know, Mike Masenko in his prime. If you sit down to Mike Masenko and you're talking to him, look how big his legs are. You know, his legs are twice the size of mine. You know, his whole body, his hips are big. You know, his whole structure is just huge. You know, Craig Elliott, you know, Dirk Androff, those standing next to those guys, Bruce Meade, standing next, and I know a lot of you guys don't even know who I'm talking about, but they worked hard at it and they got good at it. And I'm not saying all those guys did the juice, but they were big. They were just huge. But I don't see it as much now in the conference ball. You know, I'm sure that a few of them are doing it, but I don't see it much. Because if you think about it, it's all about, you know, anybody could hit 900 or 800, you know, Kyle, you know, 840 something for the year, 850 something for the year. You know, I'm not saying he does it. If you look at his body, he doesn't, and I know that guy puts in the work. I'm not calling him out, but to hit what he's hitting, and if you don't have the structure, if you don't have the genetics that he does, you almost have to cheat to get there. And that's the sad part about that. A lot of people do cheat to get there. But him, look at his body. You can tell. You can just look at people. You can look at people and say, okay, and okay, he is. But I'm not saying Kyle, but I'm talking about his batting average. Using his as an example. So if you got a guy that don't put in the work and they want to get there, they might cheat a little bit to hit that 800, 850, somewhere around there. 850 is ungodly, but and you know what I'm talking about. That goes into what I was going to say, and I got to mark these off when I get to them. There is a, and I don't know if I want to put this out there, but there is a. I was on Facebook, and I want to show you guys something. There is this guy right there. You guys see that? There is that. See that old guy right there? He's on Facebook, and he's an advertising. And he's an older gentleman, looks like he's in his 65, 70s. And he starts talking about how he had a 280 testosterone. And he started taking, it's called, I'm not even going to tell you what it is, alpha something. He starts taking these gummies, right? And then all of a sudden it raises testosterone to 900. Guys, please do not, my opinion only, please do not buy that shit, or don't buy into that shit. For one, you can look at a man's face. You can look at a man's face and his body, and you can tell if he's got a higher testosterone. You look at that guy, there's nothing that says that testosterone's at 900. 900, that's 100 points higher than mine. And he's up there talking about, all I changed it and I did. It will never increase it. Now, you're talking about testosterone boosters, and I've talked about this, so I was blue in the face. The real good ones out there is only going to raise it 30%. That's the real good ones, and there is a big market in that shit. Now, let me tell you how I'm going to give up some secrets here. Let me tell you how they fool you. Okay, I'm going to tell you how they fool you, and it's pretty smart what they're doing. And I'm not talking about them. I'm just using an example that this older gentleman said he's got a 900 testosterone, but his face looks like he's got a 200 testosterone. You know, because your face gets thinner, it changes. You know, testosterone is, for us older men, just it's awesome. get your quality of life back. And not only just to play sports. I mean, I don't give a shit if you play sports or not, to play any kind of pickleball, anything, softball. It's just to get your quality of life back. You feel better. You're not getting old. You don't break down as fast. It's good for the joints. But let me tell you how they cheat you. They'll go to a big pharmacy when they're selling all these gummies or whatever they call it. They sell these little pills, little inject, shoot in your nose and stuff like that. I'm talking about the testosterone boosters. They'll lace it with Viagra or Cialis. So whenever you wake up in the morning with morning wood, automatically you think your testosterone's higher, but it's not. They're cheating you. They're giving you the ED drug, that you can just go down and pick up get a prescription for it and pick it up. And all of a sudden in your mind, wow, it must be working. I'm going to put down $100, $150. I'm going to keep getting that every month. That's how they bastards freaking get you guys. And I've talked about this in the past. This ain't nothing that's new. I've talked about this in the past. So there is nothing on the market that I've done some research in that I'm talking about seniors, 30% at the most. A lot of people will claim that, it gets it up to 400. I've seen another one, 450%. Guys, there's nothing out there that can do that. Just go to your doctor, get a prescription, do some testing, test your blood. It's not for everybody. It doesn't cause what the rumors were out years ago. Whenever I started preaching this 15 years ago to a lot of seniors, there was a ton of rumors. I'm not touching that stuff because it could give you this cancer, that cancer. It does not give you cancer. It actually, what they ask you to is if you have a cancer gene or if you have any cancers, do not take it. But that's with a lot of drugs out there because they're trying to suppress. If you have cancer, any kind of cancer, can try to suppress your hormone level, right? They're trying to bring it way down, all your hormones, because if you got an elevated hormone level, it can actually make the cancer grow a little faster. So my father-in-law went through prostate cancer. So I listened to what they were talking to him about. So they gave him a shot every 6 months to decrease all the hormones in his body so the cancer wouldn't grow as fast. I just say, don't listen to me. Do not listen to me. Get a hold of your doctor and ask effing questions. The one thing I will say too, and I'm going to kind of go through a lot of things, and I'm going to look at my phone. There it is. It's right on the front. I'm going to delete it. If your doctor prescribes you meds before asking your diet and lifestyle, you have a dealer, not a healer. There is so much truth into that. Whenever you walk in, there's not a lot of doctors will ask me, what am I eating? Are you still working out? Because when I walk in there, they automatically, at 65 years old, they automatically, okay, he's working out. So they know, all my doctors know, right? But if I walk in there and my blood pressure is high or my cholesterol's high, automatically he picks up that pad and starts doing this, right? He doesn't ask me what I'm eating. I've had that done numerous times. What are you eating? Okay, get rid of the sugar, get rid of the carbs. Okay, give me a little bit. Give me 2 months, and we'll see where your cholesterol levels are there. He'd never had that happen, right? Oh, your blood pressure's a little high today. Okay, okay. Well, they don't ask. Well, what were you doing? Were you doing anything this morning? Well, I'm just telling you. What were you doing this morning? What was your activity? Well, I just hit balls for about 2.5 hours. I hauled ass to get here because I thought I was going to be late, and I was drinking tea all morning. Caffeine can raise blood pressure. But automatically, we're going to have to put you on some blood pressure. At least write that fucking script, man. I'm not saying this is everybody, but if it's just raised a little bit, if your cholesterol is just a little bit higher, you can change your eating habits to bring it down and just test it. I'm just saying, tell your doctor, I don't want that. Let me go ahead and try to do this with it. Let me go ahead and try to fix it. And he'll look at you like, well, how are you going to fix it? It's high blood or it's cholesterol. How are you going to fix it? Well, I'm going to cut my carbs and cut my sugar, start eating more of a clean protein diet, something like that. Cut out my complex carbs. Type 2 diabetes, automatically want to put you on some shit, right? Bring down the A1C. Change your eating habits. That's all you have to do. Fasting. Biggest, out of all of that shit, fasting is the freaking best shit you can do. Start off slow, Look it up, guys. Go to YouTube, look at all that shit up. Start off slow, bring it up to a 5-day fast. You'd be surprised if you can do a 5-day fast or a 3-day fast, at least go 3 days, but start it off as a 16-hour, next time go into a 24-hour, stay around that 16, 24, and then later on start doing like a 3-day. Look at what fasting does on a 3-day fast to your body. It can reverse a lot of shit and clean up a lot of shit that's wrong with you. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you pathways on to do things, guys. Just look it up. Shortporchcuttingedge.com. Guys, go visit that. It's got a lot of traffic. I actually have more traffic on that website because that website used to be Senior Softball Bat Reviews. I got a lot more traffic going there on there now. I put up a picture. A few of you guys. I got new guys coming on here tonight too. It's actually a pretty big crowd. I got new guys coming on here, but I want to say something. At 65 years old, I'm in pretty good shape. I put a picture on there of me. I was at the coast a couple of weeks ago because I got on probation. I was actually suspended. So me and the wife went to the coast, and I was in the gym, and I kind of flexed and took a picture. And I said the difference between me at 65 and the way I am right now is I never quit. Well, that goes with, I'm gonna kind of go into that. And I never quit. I started working out probably 15 years old with my brother. You should see my brother. He's 2 years younger than me. He's smaller than me, but he is just chiseled. He is just ripped. I bet he's got 6%, 7% body fat, but he's chiseled because we grow up together working out at 16, 17. I think I started at, 14, 15. He started 2 years younger than me. He's 12, 13. And we worked out hard. I got into powerlifting, got into my 30s, but I never, although I wanted to, guys, I never freaking gave up. I kept doing it. There were times in there where when I had my freight company that I was kind of lagging a little bit, but I still got back into it. And I never let it go. I kept doing it, right? The same thing whenever you guys are going to start something. I'm talking to you bat review guys out there right now. If you guys are starting some kind of a influence, you want to be an influencer, right? Or any kind of social media thing. Guys, let me tell you how bad it was whenever I started in 2010, 2009, I got on my channel. 2011, I got on my channels. I started I started with a big camera. I started with one of those VHS cameras, and then they came to the cassette camera. I started with all that, in 2009, 2010. And I never gave up. It was something that was people, I got my ass handed to me. I tell you that, but I didn't care. I just kept doing it. I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and not seeing any profits from it. For hell, I couldn't monetize my YouTube channel to make any money for about 4 years, 5 years. You got to get over 1,000 subscribers. And it was like one subscriber every month. Now I get up to 10 a day, right? It was like one subscriber every month. And then I said, man, but this pace, I'm not gonna, but I never gave up on it. I always did it. It was something that I love doing. It was something that I can get out there and exercise, right? And I love hitting a lot of bats. I always have ever since I was in my 20s. I love hitting a lot of different bats out there. There was getting into that. I never gave up, even though, there were times where, always during the off season, I would kind of lay low a little bit because it was too cold to get out there and do bat reviews. But I never gave up doing it, and I never thought I would be where I'm at right now. I never did. I never said I'm going to do this because I want to be that guy, right? It was a service to a lot of seniors out there, and that's mainly the reason that I wanted to do it and help out and what got me going. And you guys heard this story too, but what got me going is that I used to hit next to a lot of seniors that were 30 or 40 of them, older guys, 70s and 80s. And I went over there, and they were talking to me about a bat. I bought this bat, and I said, well, that's a good bat. And they go, well, it sucks for me. And I go, and I automatically, I was like, well, because your bat speed's too low. It doesn't fit you, And this guy was 75, I think. So I picked it up and I hit it, and it's like, the guy goes, wow, I said, well, my bat speed's higher than yours. You need to go to this bat. And I told him what bat to go to. And I'll say, hey, thanks, Dave, because they're on a fixed income. A lot of seniors out there on a fixed income, and they cannot sit there and buy bat after bat. And guys in the tent going, it just swing it. It's the best bat you ever swung. It fits me. I look at me, hit the ball. The guy goes, oh shit, not knowing that it guys has 100-mile-an-hour bat speed, and he's got 50. Nobody ever told him that. So I wanted to get that out there to talk to people. But what I'm saying is, I never gave up. The only time I was thinking about it was that last year, year and a half ago, whenever I was looking for another career, and I was going to let it go, but I was grooming a couple of people, you know who they are, would take over for what I did, you know, because I had to make money at the time. So I'd been thinking about it. And then finally, here comes Showports along going, hey, you want to come work for us? I'm like, yeah. And that's where it got me, because I never gave up. You know, the health part, you know, a lot of the health things I'm probably going to go through a little bit tonight. And knowing a lot of people. I mean, that's I put my wife, I congratulate my wife for that, because she was affiliated with the Spurs, and all of the doctors that work on the pro athletes. I became friends with them. So I picked their brain and asked them questions, and they did surgeries on me whenever I got hurt playing softball, and just asked them a lot of questions. Guys, and I will say this, what I got out of all of that is, when somebody sits there and tells you you're done, you might as well retire. Don't listen to them. Go to get a second opinion. You know, even when it comes up to your health, you know, not necessarily injuries, you know, you know how many times that I was told I need back surgery? 3 times. I need neck surgery and twice lower back surgery. You got narrowing of the root canal. We're going to have to go in and just clean it out. I went to doing different things when that happened. And guys, that was 15 years ago, 12 years ago, and about 10 years ago. And I learned how to keep my back from hurting as much. For one, not swinging heavy ass bats. That actually helps. Chiropractor number 2. A lot of you guys go chiropractor, and I'm like, yeah, chiropractor saved my ass. A good one. Guys played football. Him and his whole family. I mean, him and the kids played football, and he worked on athletes. So you got to find that guy, not your regular guy. You got to find somebody this big that'll pop the hell out of you. And they did. They saved me, you know. My neck I don't have any trouble with my neck. Every once in a while, I'll flare up. I go to chiropractor, and he'll take care of it. So definitely, another thing too about working out, guys, I hate working out. I freaking hate it with a passion. I really do. I worked out yesterday. I worked out traps yesterday and back. A day before, I worked out triceps. I do not work out biceps. But I hate it with a passion. I dread getting out there. But after I'm done, I feel amazing. I feel really good. But I do hate it. I've always hated it. Even when I first started at 15 years old, I didn't want to do it. But I knew what it could do. I knew what it did for me. The one thing that I will say, I hear a lot of you guys are asking me about workout routines, and I'm going to kind of talk about that. A lot of you guys are asking me about workout routines. I have 3 or 4 different kind. I got the 5-3-1s. I have a couple of Lou Simmons workout routines. Then I have my own. My own is mainly an off-season and on-season workout routine. It's done totally different than anybody else. And guys, if you watch that video, you watch that picture. It's a picture of me, and I'm showing a lot of my shoulders. I don't lift heavy. I haven't lift heavy, and probably because I can't. For one, my shoulders are killing me. I don't lift heavy, and I'm still building muscle right at the top. And I lift with 30 to 40%, 40%, 50% in the off season, but 40% max. So I kind of know what my max is, and I'm constantly adding weight every week, right? Or every 2 weeks, 5, because I am 65, like 5 pounds every couple of weeks. So I am always adding weight, but I don't work out like, I'm pretty ripped up on top, but I don't work out and I don't go around with my shirt off all the time. That's just every once in a while. But my wife told me, well, if you're going to preach this shit, you got to show people what it's doing to you. And I'm like, I know that, but I wasn't one of those guys that go to the softball park, walking around with baby oil all over. I wasn't that guy. I covered up, even in the gym. I'll cover up, baggy stuff, and I won't do that. So what I will say is, I don't work out with masks. I work out. Lou Simmons talks about the conjugate system, where he's doing everything at a certain percentage, and everything's an explosive movement. Right, not a negative. Just bring the bar back in. It everything's close grip too, elbows in the back side. So I what I'm getting to is I have all those workout routines. A lot of you guys ask me for them. I'm going to get them out to you. I have all your names. I got where I got to send them, and I'm going to send them to you, and you can find out. And these are all for softball. They're not for looking good at the beach. They're not for impressing the ladies. And you ladies can do this too. It'll actually help you working for your softball. If you got a lot of dedicated ladies out there too, and it'll actually help you too, because there's different muscle groups that I found out in my 30s that you need to work out to actually get any kind of distance, any kind of exit velo up there. Because back then we didn't exit velo. What are you talking about? When I was in my 30s. So yes, I got them. I got to find 2 more, but I got them, and there's like 3 different ones that'll last you forever. And I actually do that. I already know it by heart. So I'll do all those routines. I got a gym right here. I'll go to Gold's Gym or whatever gym that I can find if I'm out of town, especially when I'm in Vegas. And then I got a certain workout routine. When you're playing ball too, that changes, guys. You got to understand, you can't do the shit on the off season. You can't keep doing the shit you did in the off season. All that's got to change, right? You need to be more flexible during the season. You can't be tearing down big muscles. You can't be doing that and expecting to play a good softball tournament, be consistent on the weekend. You got to give your body time to rest. That's another thing too. Each body part is so many days to rest. The bigger the muscles are, leg muscles, your lats in the back take more days, 4 days, especially if you're older too. And if you're not on TRT, it takes longer than that. So I have all that in there. I just need to get it to you guys, and I'm working on that. So that's the thing too about that. I want to give a shout out here, and you guys need to watch this. And if Murray Williams is on here, he needs to actually clarify this. Murray is in the Bomber Tour. We have Murray is going to be representing Short Porch in the 70s bracket. Brandon Murray is too. Be representing Short Porch, and they're in that Bomber Tour. They are playing, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's not this weekend, but it's next weekend, 15th. Might be 2 weeks. Might be 2 weeks away. And Murray will be there representing. Brandon Murray will be there too. But yeah, guys, tune into that and kind of support our Short Porch guys that are getting in that Bomber Tour, the long haul Bomber Tour. Another thing, Murph, if you're watching tonight, whenever we were hitting on was it Wednesday or Thursday? That was yesterday. I think it was when Clem was hitting. That was Clem's guys. That wasn't us. We didn't schedule that. They actually, and that's all bullshit what Clem said. They actually called me to come out and pitch to them. They didn't call me to come out and hit. I barely got in there to hit because I just wanted to swing my bat because I got a 26 in. I swung a 27. I swung a 25. And I wanted to swing a 26 in my bat. So I wanted to swing it. So I kind of went out there, knew kind of breaking in a little bit. I had Trey swing it. I think Clem took some swings with it, but I was out there just pitching to them because they're going to do Facebook Live with a lot of U-Trip bats. But they did hit seniors too, because I did get some video on them hitting seniors. And it was a last minute thing. They called me the night before and asked me if I'd show up because, of course, I have the balls. So definitely. I don't know if I want to go there yet. I think I will. A lot of you guys are asking me what I got to do to be a rep. I seen 2 text messages today or instant messenger messages today about what do I have to do to be a rep. You want to get your foot in. You want to get your foot in the door, and this is across the board. If you want to get your foot in the door, find out about the bat company you want to rep for. Because that's the number one thing. Our biggest thing is, if you want to be a rep for Short Porch, you got to watch the podcast. You'll have a leg up on everybody else whenever you watch the podcast and see what we're doing. Bats are built for different people. It's just what we've been doing. It's like if you want to work for a golf club or somebody that sells golf clubs, you have to understand how they do it. You got to understand how it's fitting, right? You fit your people in. They actually would put them on a simulator and have them hit, and then they'll test a lot of things, but and then they'll put you in some clubs, the length of the club and just stuff like that. So what we do with softball, and I think, across the board, the seniors and USSSA, what they do is they try to fit you in with a bat that better fits your swing. Now, you'd be surprised on a lot of times where the reps really don't listen to that, and they're asking questions. And I go, well, shit, if you would listen to the podcast me and Jeff had 2 weeks ago, you kind of learn that stuff. So, yeah, that's the thing. If you want to be, I do want to address one. I'm going to erase that one, but that's the one thing you have to do is you got to learn. You got to know. And if you want to be a rep, you probably already do know what Short Porch is pushing. I already talked about that one. The workouts, I already talked about that one. I'll get back with you guys on those workouts. Whoo, that one's I might get talking about that one. There was something that was said the other day that I want to clear up. And, the gummy guy, I actually got him on. I'll take pictures of all this, and I kind of want to talk about him later. Here it is. There was something that was said the other day I want to clear up, because there's a lot of misinformation out there from people that don't understand. And I don't understand why this guy doesn't understand, because for one, he should listen. And I'm going to kind of give you a kind of look at what I'm talking about. And I said it a couple of times, right? His words were, "This bat is a beast." He's talking about this bat right there is what he's talking about. And Brandon Murray's bat, signature bat. And it said, because there was somebody that did a review on it, and he popped up and he goes, "This bat is a beast, and I think it's being overshadowed by a bat that's not." And he was talking about that one, right? Because there is a lot of hype on this bat, right? So let me explain that. Somebody might have heard that, because he actually did say that being overshadowed by a bat that's not a beast. Let me explain to you what we do here, guys. And I can't believe I'm doing this, but there are some people on here that are new. We fit bat speeds. We fit two different people. We're fitting you, right? A lot of reps don't understand that. But I'm here to tell you that we fit you with things. You have two bats here. The one on the top, they're both the same. They're both the same, the way it's constructed. They both are DDTs, right? They both have 12-inch barrels, right? They both have no flex on the handle. So what we do is the top bat, medium high, bottom bat, medium low. So depending on whose hand it's in, it is going to perform different. This bat has 3/4 ounce in load, because it's a tri-layer. It's a tri-layer, but it's got a 3/4 ounce in load, because a little bit more mass to flex that tri-layer. That's a little bit harder because it fits your bat speed, right? Higher bat speed. You can't sit there and stick in a 100-mile-an-hour guy's hands, Brandon Murray, a bat that is made for 75-year-old guy, 70-year-old guy, 65-year-old guy, 60-year-old guy, right? You got to toughen up the barrel a little bit. But when you toughen up the barrel, you put a little bit more on the end, because he can handle it, right? A lot of those guys with the high bat speed can handle a little bit more, a quarter ounce in that end to make it a 3/4 ounce. So I think somebody was talking out of turn the other day, and I just want to clarify it. You have two different bats here, two different bat speeds, and that's what we do. We build bats for different people, different bat speeds. I just want to clarify that because when that person put that out there, I didn't want anybody to read it and go, oh, shit, is that other bat not any good? Because we are hyping up my bat because it's something that's new. It's something that, because here's the deal too, guys, what a lot of people don't understand is that's the senior side. That's senior softball bat reviews, right? That's the senior side, which is a lot of the older guys, a lot of the AAA, a lot of AA guys, a lot of the major guys, the guys who we cater to, So I just wanted to clarify that, we do talk about that because we're senior, that side, senior softball side, and it's a senior softball bat. So we are pumping that one up, pumping both of them up. I love Brandon Murray's bat. Y'all seen the swing I took on it the other day. That's one of the first balls I've hit. But I can get my bat speed up there. It'll hurt me, but I can get to show you guys that I can swing it, which I don't swing like that all the time, but I can get my bat speed up there. And I do love his bat. I love the way that bat swings in my hands. It feels in my hands. I love the way it's everything. I have the whip and everything with that bat. I love it. So don't, because one person says that, don't think that we're trying to pump up a bat that's not worth it, because all of our bats are worth it. I'm going to erase that one because I'm done with that. But here's the deal: you guys want to be a rep. Listen. And I kind of went off earlier. I think I went off earlier when I was talking about. I'm sitting here talking on me and Jeff talking, and our guys are just talking to each other, not even watching the podcast. Because you hear things and they'll be talking about something. I'm like, aren't they even watching a podcast? But I guess not. And then later on, they'll ask a question. I'm like, well, we just talked about that, guys, last week. But definitely, it helps. It helps to gain knowledge on what we do. And that's with any company, too. If you like a company, go, I want to work for that company. It helps to gain knowledge. Somebody was asking what breaks down faster, a 13-inch or 12-inch. 13-inch breaks down faster. A 13-inch breaks down faster than a 12-inch. Another thing, too, and I cannot believe I got to answer this question that was brought up by a rep. What breaks down faster? 28 ounce or 26 ounce or 25 ounce? A 28 ounce. Big mass. Big mass breaks down faster. So common sense would say the only way to get this bat not to break down faster is you still got a tri-layer, but you beef up that barrel a little bit and you add a little bit more in weight. So it'll still perform. You guys seen me hitting it. It'll still perform. So anytime you have big mass, you guys that swing those 28-ounce bats all the time, you wonder why your bats are cracking, or you wonder why your compression is failing whenever you get. I've seen this happen last year with another bat company, guys. Guy was swinging a 28-ounce something bat, and he bought it a month before he went and couldn't understand why it was compression tested at 135. I was right there watching it. He looks at me like, what happened? I said, for one, you got a soft barrel. You shouldn't be swinging a soft barrel. Number two, it's a 28 ounce. You got big mass on the end. You're going to break that barrel down. That soft barrel is going to break down. It's going to lose compression. What we found out is Kevlar doesn't lose it as fast as other bat companies. Somebody asked, there was a review. There was something talked about where I was talking about with Jeff. I was talking about something, and somebody had asked me. Somebody else jumped in on it, but someone was asking me, what do you have to compare? Have you swung other bats? I died laughing like, dude, I've swung every freaking bat in the last 15 years. Clem swings other bats too. Clem is with me. So when somebody, and here's the deal too, guys, when we hear, because we hear a lot of things, right? When we hear this best bat coming out right now, so Clem will grab that bat and Clem will swing it. because Clem hits different. Clem hits a lot more than me. Clem will hit 5 days a week, 4 days a week. I hit twice at the most. So Clem will grab it and he'll say, come up to me and goes, that bat's a piece of shit, So we do have people in our own Texas, people that actually have swung other bats, because we have to keep up, right? When I was senior softball bat reviews, I knew everything from whenever I joined short porch to 15 years before. I've swung them all. So I can sit here right here and talk to you about all the other bats I've swung. So yes, we do throw some bats in there, the big hype, where they talk about how great it is and, and all the big hype on it. We'll grab one of those. Clem will grab it and then Clem will give me feedback on it, what it does. And Clem does swing all of our bats. So yeah, we keep in touch with the market. Basically, that's how we can get up here and talk to you guys. You see that? You see that? I'm going to talk about that one in a minute. But yes, we do swing a lot of. But one thing I will say about our bats that you don't get from anybody else out there too, and if you guys ever watch me play, you would be like, I never knew you hit like that. I don't hit with power. I've learned to do a lot of things with my swing. I have 5 weapons whenever I play. 5 weapons. I think everybody should do the same. You shouldn't only have one swing. And I've talked to my guys. Everybody hits with me. I talk to them about it. You got to have 5 weapons, right? Things you can go to, because you're not going to have. You're going to have a pitcher that's trying to get you out. It's no longer BP anymore, right? So, if you have that one swing where he's just pulling the ball 5-6 hole and he throws you an outside pitch, what are you going to do with it? You're going to lose it because you're not going to open your hips because you're reaching out for it. So I have 5 different weapons, right? So if you see me in a game, I very seldom hit a home run. I have home run. You guys seen me hit. I've got home run power, but it ain't all about that. I'm more impressed with me hitting, let's say, 800 in a tournament. Because that's what I go for the 800s. I don't go for the 700s. When I walk into a tournament, I have a goal on what I want to do. And I talked to Ken Bambergart about this too. He goes, what do you hit in a tournament? What do you try to hit in a tournament? I said, I try not to make an out. When I first walk into the tournament, my first game is so crucial, because I know if I get on a roll on that first game, I'm going to skate. I'm going to be good, because if I get on a roll, it ain't no stopping me. It's when you have to, like, that first game is always, when you guys want to have a higher batting average, that first game is crucial. I don't give a shit if it's a pool game or not. That first game is crucial, right? You don't want to struggle to try to keep your batting average up. So I walk into a tournament not wanting to make an out. If I make an out, then I keep going like I only want to make one out, and so on, right? That's my approach to hitting. I slap the ball. I'll slap 5-6 hole. I'll slap over the infield, get a little arc on it. I have different weapons. I'll pull down the line hard. I'll pull gap hard. When there's time for a home run, I'll just let it loose. Try just to rip on it. But you got to have games. I've got my go-to hit, and you got my go-to hit. It's a slap opposite glove hand side of the pitcher. When there's not a 5-man, I won't do it when there's a 5-man. So when there's not a 5-man and you got that hole right there, I just kind of just hit it down. It doesn't look pretty, guys. It does not. It does not look pretty, and I don't care. I laugh when I run to first base, right? If the shortstop's playing me deep, you guys have seen this before. You've seen on video, because all my videos are up. When a shortstop playing me deep, because I'd hit a line drive 5-6 hole, I'll sit there and I'll just hit it on the ground, and I've got enough speed where I can run it out to first base. Now next time I come up, he's going to play me a little bit, cut off that angle, right? He's going to play me a little bit closer, gives me a bigger angle, 5-6 hole, or up the middle. If I can get him to come in closer, I got that opposite glove hand side, and I would just slap it, So my bat, what I'm trying to get to is my bat is perfect for me. It's that softer barrel. And softer barrels perform better when you take, the chef talked about it. Marcus talked about it. Whenever he's talking about my bat, you can half swing it, right? You can just throw your hands on it and the ball goes. Well, that was my idea whenever I developed that, right? Me and Jeff put our brain together, and I said, I want to bat like this, dual distribution. That way it's going to help with my slap. Any dual distribution technology you got out there, it's going to help with your slap. And you guys that slap, I've seen you guys slap before. Guys at tomahawk, I've got a tomahawk swing too, where I just chop it. I just rear back. That dual distribution helps that. So I wanted something that I can just lay some wood on and just it's going to get through the infield fast. Not distance. I don't want distance. Or I can just sit up there, and if it's a real crucial situation, the guy throws me up high, I can just hit it up in the air, and it's going to fall right over the second base or the shortstop or in between, between him and the outfielder. I have that one too. Sam, I thought you'd be watching, man. I guess not. Not everybody's watching. So when we build bats, when we talk about the 200 compression bats, that is our idea to help out the slower swing bat speed guys and the slappers, right? The ones that you can just pop, 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 hit it anywhere, and it's all about getting the ball through the infield fast. So that was one of my ideas. And if you ever seen me play, guys, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll just slap it, kind of go with it. My swing is kind of unorthodox, where I'll just lean into it and just hit it up the middle. But when I'm doing that in my first game, I know I'm gonna have a really good tournament because that won't go away with me. I won't forget that, and I'll keep on doing that. The one thing I will tell you this too is, I videotape all my games, and I do that for a few reasons. For one, when I'm up here talking to you, it proves on what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about because you guys can watch me play, and it's not cut up. You're gonna get the good with the bad too, but it's not cut up. What it helps me is if I'm having a bad 2 games, like in the pool games we play on one day, if I'm having a bad pool game, I'll come back and I'll cut those videos up and I'll watch them and I'll see what I'm doing wrong. And I've had teammates come up to me and go, "Did you videotape the game?" I sure did. "Can you show me my swings?" I'll go back to the room. I'll cut their swings up, usually be around 8 swings, 7 swings, and I'll send them to him. That way he can watch them, right? And he'll sit there and say, "Okay, I know what I was doing wrong." One guy, he made 4 in a pool game. He was, I think he was like 4 for 8. And this is one of our top guys, right? And he goes, "Can you send me the game?" I'll cut it up for you. I sent it to him. All it took was his hands were he used to have them up here. He brought them down here. And it wasn't his swing, right? The next day, he didn't make another out the whole tournament. He kept his hands up here, and he was just hitting lasers everywhere. So that helps you if you guys are videotaping your game. That's just a little thing you guys can do that'll help you out. Oh, I already talked about that guy. The 280 to 900 testosterone, and that is funny ass shit. I never gave up. But guys, if you're starting something, and I see this on a lot of, and I want to get back to this. I see this on a lot of podcasters out there. You guys will run it for a while, and then you'll get tired of it, and you won't put it out, and then you just give up. And you think there's no such thing, in my opinion. There's no such thing as a bad podcast. There's something in there that people's going to gain knowledge of. Don't give up on it. Start it. And I guarantee off the podcast that I've seen in the last 5 years, 80% of you guys just give up on it. You don't do it anymore. And even though, like, you might see it not taking off at the beginning, just think if I would have gave up what I was doing the first 5 years, I wasn't getting anybody to watch YouTube channels. And I kept at it. And I kept at it. Then people started joining. You learn by the mistakes you make when you're talking too. So I remember my first take doing a review, and it was on a Reebok. It was on a Reebok bat. I think that was my first one. And I took 30 takes. It wasn't live. I just did 30 takes in front of that big old camera to get it right. But I did it. It took me hours. I was looking at my cheat sheet. Now I don't even need a cheat sheet. I did on mine because I had so many bullet points. But yeah, I just breeze through it now. It's like nothing. Just stay with it. You're going to get better at it. And do not give up on it, because people out there like seeing that stuff. And I like seeing a lot of the ones that came out that guys did give up on, or ladies gave up on it. I like watching that stuff. Wow, I'm kind of breezing through them here. I'm gonna go off here, man. because I am getting kind of late into this, and I didn't want it to turn. I'm going to go eat after this, so I'm kind of hangry, and I had to be hangry to talk about this shit now. You know, I get pushback on what I'm going to talk about, and I don't understand why. I get pushback, and it's usually from the big guys. I get pushback, but I'm not going to stop doing it, and it's shaving bats. Well, I think, and am I spinning my wheels here? You know, am I talking about something that's never going to fucking go away? You know, am I talking about something that, or maybe just people don't give a shit? Maybe people just they don't care anymore. I know there's some passionate people out there that want it to go away. I really don't think it will. I've been talking about it for 15 years, and I don't think it will. And I'm going to tell you why. What we have turned into is a society that glorifies it. Glorifies it. All you have to do, if you get popped shaving a bat, or get suspended, you got to go underground for about a year, because I see it happening. You got to go underground for about a year and don't put out any videos. Maybe people are going to forget about it. Year and a half later, then you pop up. Your first video, you're quiet. You don't talk. You just get out there and hit. And all of a sudden he's back, right? Well, why was he gone? Well, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Then they glorify that person again. As recently. Hold on. What is he doing? Did he just get popped about 2 years ago shaving a fucking bat? You know? Well, that guy's got his name on a bat. Wasn't he popped 5 years ago? Swinging it, and then one of his excuses was, I borrowed it. I borrowed it. That was one of his excuses. And the other one was, I got it back from somebody. I stuck it in my bag, and I took the worlds with me. It's gotten where I'm not giving up on it, though. I'm going to keep talking about it, but it's gotten where I don't, okay, he got popped, he got off, he got done. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? You know, he's out here putting all these videos up lately. You know, who gives a shit? They're being glorified. I always thought if you got caught cheating, you know, how do you come back? How do you recover from that? So what you're sending a message for, what you're sending a message to is, it doesn't matter if you cheat or not. If you get popped, you get kicked out for a year, you can come back in a year and you'll be as popular as you were when you got fucking busted. That's sad. And 90% of you guys don't even know who I'm talking about. That's the other sad part, because you don't care. And I'm not saying everybody. Don't start text messaging me. Oh, I know who did it now. You really don't. It's out there. It's being done. You know. Talking about, and here's the deal, guys. When I go up there and talk, I'm talking about something that's going to better the game. I'm not picking on you. I'm not picking on major plus guys like I've been accused of doing. I'm not saying everybody. It's not absolutes. It's being done. And if you think it's not, you're the problem. If you think it's not being done, you're one of the problems out there, because it is being done everywhere. You know, I got to make sure I say that everywhere it's being done. Because, oh, he was picking on us. No, I wasn't picking on you. Every lady watching this, I'm done with that. Every lady watching this tonight, and I know you guys are going to go back and look at it, but every lady watching this, and I'll talk to you ladies in Vegas whenever I get there. Every lady watching this needs to swing a soft barrel bat with weight distributions, numbers, more geared toward short porch. I say that because I do think that we make some of the best bats out there. So every lady watching this tonight, it's just little, you know, I want to tell you ladies out there, should be swinging a soft to medium soft barrel bat. You ladies with the higher bat speed, maybe go to a medium bat. Nobody should be swinging a hard barrel bat. No lady out there should be swinging a hard barrel bat. No senior that has that bat speed below 70. I'm going to throw it to 70, right? 75 maybe, but I'm going to put it 70. That's my concrete number. If your bat speed's below 70, you need to be swinging a soft barrel bat, something that's, you know, and we have them. You know, if your bat speed is below 70, okay, I would not stick you in this, because it's geared toward those upper 70 to 100 mile an hour. I would stick you in this, right? That's what I would stick you in, because this is a softer barrel. Although it is got grip spin on it, it's still a softer barrel, and it's made that way. So that is a badass bat right there. I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm not going to talk about that. Workout's coming. I've already talked about that one. And I've been talking about too much shit tonight too. So what we have turned into in society is instant gratification. There's going to be a lot of, and I don't know if I talked about this before. I kind of got it written here and I didn't mark it out. So sorry if I'm repeating myself. What we have turned into instant gratification. People don't want to, Marcus talked about this the other day with the chef. People don't want to put in the work anymore. People want to pick something up, pull a wrapper off it. They don't care how many swings it gets into it, 200, 300 swings, as long as it brings them instant gratification on hitting flat out bombs. That's what we turn into. So a lot of the 40, 45, 50-year-old guys with that higher bat speed, will pick this bat right there, because that's instant gratification for them. Not for me. I'm talking about for them, right? So they'll grab this bat. Both those bats will hit very good for them. I actually think this one on the bottom, because of the mass, will hit better. But what we turned into is they want that instant. And I last year in Vegas, I had people talking to me about that. What bat I don't have to break in? This one right here. But it doesn't fit you. I don't care. Here's my $200. Bye. Okay. Don't bring it back in 150 swings, 200 swings, and that thing blew up on you. Because I think Jeff said it the other day when he was talking to Marcus. They're so hard to build a bat, and a lot of companies don't want to do this, but it's so hard to build a bat that's top tier and last 3,000 swings. Those days are over with. You know, those days are over with. You're not gonna, you know, and a lot of people. I'm gonna say something right now too. A lot of people talk about the old Dudleys, right? The old Dudleys did last a long time, and the old Dudleys are grandfathered in. The old Dudleys wouldn't pass compression. They wouldn't pass the NTS testing right now, right? They wouldn't pass it. But here's the deal about the old Dudleys. They're old. Okay. When you have a bat that gets old, what happens is rosin plays a toll, not carbon. The rosin in that bat is actually deteriorating. It's not as good as it was when it was fresh, right? So what I have seen, and I've talked about this before I became Short Porch, guys, and I want to give, there's red flags out there. This is just one of them. When you have a bat that sets out and it gets hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold, you left out in the truck, it got 99 degrees, 100 degrees, that break down the rosin. So when you buy a bat, across the board, doesn't matter if it's Dudley or not. If you buy that, if that bat's not brand new in the wrapper and it wasn't stored inside of 75-degree weather, 72-degree weather inside the house, there's a good chance that carbon, that rosin, not carbon, that rosin's going to be messed up. It's not going to flex as much, you know. It's going to powderize, best way I can put it. So just watch. And I just want you guys to not get burned on a $500-$600. Now, brand new one, I would say you'd have to ask them where it was stored to. You know, that's a little bit better risk, you can actually maybe get away with if they want, put a brand new one's going to cost you $600, $700, $800. But a lot of these bats that have been swung and striations all in it, where was it stored? Was it in your truck? Because anything breaks down with the sun. UV rays will break carbon. Well, not carbon, guys. Again, salt water breaks carbon, but over a long period of time. But it's the rosin that's in it how they put it together. I've swung. I did a reviews on those bats, but I've swung 2 years ago. I had a chance to buy an OG. It was a blue. It was a 2.0, the Dudley 2.0. That was my bat of choice back in the day, and it just didn't perform like I thought it would. If the end cap comes off of any bat, you put it back in, it's not going to perform. Me and John Robbins are going to probably talk about that in Vegas. But if an end cap comes off of a bat and you try to, because a lot of things about that, I was going to talk about the OG, but I'm not going to, because that's too much information for you guys. Not that you can't handle it, but it's just, I'll be here for, another hour talking about a lot of those OG end caps. Oh, and I think I did talk about that one too, instant gratification. But what we turned into, I'm going to mark that out and kind of recap on that, is a lot of guys, and you watch in the tent. When I'm in the tent this year, you watch how many people are going to go to that tent and say, what's your hottest bat here? And we'll give them our hottest bat. I got one right here that I want to talk about too in a minute. And he'll go, okay, I'll buy it. No, dude, what's your bat speed? No, I just want it. I want to go. I'm going to hit it. Okay, go ahead. Not giving a rat's ass about how long it's going to last that guy. So he's going to take it out, and because it's not made for him. We do make bats for them, but it's not. But what we sell a lot of is those types, that hear about it. Did you, Richard? Did you read that? And I didn't say a name though, Richard. I didn't say a name, but I thought that was messed up, though. It definitely was. Let me talk to you guys about something. And me and Leslie been working on this for almost 3 years now, because whenever I contacted them, because someone had got a BP ball from them 3 years ago, might have been Adam. He got it, and I said, hey, can you do me a favor and have Leslie mess with a one-piece ball, right? And could you make it where it's not mush, but it just doesn't travel, right? You'd have to cut it to make it travel. Something that you can hit when you go to tournaments. You can have like a bag of them. Take them to tournaments, and something you don't have to go running down the street for, and something that won't destroy the balls that you have that you just got there. And they're good balls, because I've done it, guys. I played with a team for 10 years, 11 years, where we hit hot balls, right? I said something that's a little bit not as lively, something that's going to, and then what that does is it creates where you want to hit the ball harder. Something you can hit BP in, something you can train, and something you can take somewhere where it's not going to break apart, and you're not going to hit them far. You can go and grab them, throw them in real fast. And she came up with this ball. I'm going to show you right now. This is it right here. This ball we've had for over 3 years. Look at it, guys. There's nothing wrong with it. Doesn't have any cuts in it. We've hit this ball in wet weather. We've hit the ball in dew on the ground, and we haven't even cleaned this ball. I haven't even cleaned the ball, but you hit it. You've heard us hit it. It's mush. It's like it, but it's the same weight as a regular 12-inch ball. So it's the same weight as a regular 12-inch ball. So when you're pitching it, right, you can pitch it with any other balls, and it's not going to do anything, right? Somebody was saying, well, look, it has creases in it. It's not and they're raised. Ooh, we're going to get that. So you can see that they're raised right there. See it on the top. So it's not like just a round ball. And those are just that's actually where they're raised, so you can grab it, right? If you want to train with it and throw it. I mean, knuckleball, a lot of you guys, mine is not that good, but yeah, definitely something that And I talked to Leslie about it, and this is the one she made. But let me tell you how I learned this. And this was back in the 80s when I was hitting with Bill Blake. Billy always hit shit balls, right? And I'm asking him, like, there's a story where I grabbed one of his balls and I was throwing it out because it's lopsided. And he yells at me, "Go pick that up." I go, "Why, dude? It's a piece of shit." And he's like, "No, I hit those balls." And I asked him why. And he goes, "Because if I can spin those out of a baseball field, then when I go play for Steels or I go play for Howard's," I said, "I have no problem hitting what they got. I don't give a shit what ball they hit. Because if I can hit that shit ball, Optima, you guys remember the Optima balls? I know this is dating myself, but they were hollow on the inside. Well, Billy would hit those balls, and he learned how to cut them. Right? I think this is the great cutting tool. A lot of you guys want to cut balls. What you're going to do is you're going to hit it, and you're going to realize that for me to do anything, I've got to cut that ball to get any distance on it. So you start swinging down. You know you got to swing down when you cut. It's hard to hit. It's hard to cut a ball, Clem. It's hard to cut a ball when you're hitting it down here. You got to hit a ball up in this area, up in your chest. I can cut a ball that's in my face, right, and I can get some distance on it. What used to can't do it now, but I can get it some distance on it. But the way you make this ball perform is you cut it. So what you're doing is you're getting that muscle memory on how to cut it. Another thing too is you go at it when you hit this ball, because everybody wants to hit the ball far. So you actually go at it. What you're doing is training your body to go at it. So you're increasing your white muscle fiber whenever you hit this ball. Because if that's all the thing in your bag, you're going to get up there and cut it. You're going to cut it, and then you're going to try to hit it hard. What I think happens to a lot of seniors out there, and I'm talking about players across the board, is they get in batting practice, they'll just get up there and go, almost like they're playing tennis. Well, that does nothing for you. You got to hit it with a purpose. You got to get up there in that box, and you just got to wear back and just smack it, right? If you can, if you're healthy enough to do that. This ball does that. This ball makes it where I want to hit this ball out. Or God, you guys on 300-foot park, I want to see if I can hit it out. Well, that creates muscle memory, right? That creates white muscle fiber. So I thought about it as being a training tool. Billy taught me that back in the 80s, that he only hits nothing but trash balls. Balls that, and guys, the balls he hit were trash. They were breaking apart, on the inside, and he would still hit them. He'd still hit them and cut these shit out of them and hit them a mile. Right. So that's what I came up with 3 years ago, got with Leslie, and this is what we got coming out. These balls will come out after 3 years for the first time. We're going to try to do it last year, but we didn't have time. But this year we're going to do it. And this ball will be out after Vegas. And what a better time. Wow, I caught that, dude. What a better time to do it like when it starts getting a little bit cooler. And it's good on your bats. It's not gonna damage your bats. But when you hit it, you can tell that ball kind of goes in on you, but not bad. It actually, our biggest thing is when we get it thrown, we don't tell the guys when we're throwing it to them, but we look for it, and we want to try to hit it far. I think Trey actually holds the record, believe it or not, on how far that ball's been hit, and it didn't go out. So somebody's trying to be the first person to get that any distance on that ball. And those will be coming up for sale after Vegas. We've got so much going on in Vegas, guys. We cannot wait. Oh, I'm going to kind of wind it down here. Hour and 15 minutes. I've got so much, man. I talked about that. How long it takes for your body to recover. Bigger muscles, it takes 4 days. You can work your forearms and your traps every day, guys. You can work your forearms, your traps, your calves. You can work every day. I wouldn't suggest it. You got to have time to heal. You know what? Being in the gym only is a little part of working out. Rest and nutrition are the other two. There's a lot of supplements out there that will help with that. I have a list that I'm going to update before Vegas or during Vegas. I talked about that. A lot of you guys are asking me questions about what bat I swing, and I've talked about this in the past, but I kind of want to go through it now. A lot of you guys are asking me what bats do I swing? What size bats do I swing? It has nothing to do with me. We're trying to fit you with your bat. You swing different than I do. Okay. I have an unorthodox swing, I think. I slap the ball. There's only certain bats I can do that with. I think there's 5 right now that's with short ports that I can do it with. So there's about 5. But I slap the ball, keep my batting average up. I don't go oppo. I actually go toward the middle, over the pitcher's head. Opposite glove hand side. I'm going to swing a totally bat than what you do because you're going to be fitted. If you guys show up in Vegas, if you want my help, I can help you to be fitted with a bat, definitely, especially on that demo day. What I want to do, and I got a whole segment right here. I'm going to circle it that I want to talk about next Friday, and it's being prepared for Vegas when you go. Hydration. If you guys are going to Vegas the first week, I suggest next week you start preparing for that. Don't work out no later than Tuesday if you're playing next week. Are you going, it all depends on your age too, on how you work out. Me, I'm taking off 5 days before I actually working out, taking off 5 days before I hit or play a softball tournament. Drinking is a no-no. That's right, guys, not even beer. And I know that's going to break a lot of you guys' hearts. If you're going, here's the deal too. If you're going up there to win, I recommend don't drink. It just takes so much out of you, especially in the long run. It might feel good the next day, the first day, but on that day 3, if you're going to be playing into the championship bracket, it's going to kick your ass. But I'm going to go through all this. What compression? Nothing too. All this next week, guys. What compression do you want your bat at when you go? Everybody's different. That's another thing too. Workouts, rest, hydration, big. You lose 40% of your strength if you're not hydrated. And that's before you get there, and that's when you're there. And that's when you're done, too, because you're going to be dehydrated when you're done. Hitting. I hit twice before I go every year to Worlds to play. I hit twice. I'll hit on a Monday or Tuesday. And if I play on Friday, I'm just going to give you, if you play on Thursday, you want to back up a little bit. But when I play on Friday, I would hit on a Wednesday. So I had Thursday to lean back. I didn't do anything on Thursday. I just relaxed. I took as many naps as I could, and I ate and I hydrated, right? So if I played on Friday morning, and I know this has a lot to do with the way you travel too. So if I played on Friday morning, we'd all meet somewhere, and I'd take 10 swings. Mike Garibay 5, but I'd take 10 swings right before, and it doesn't matter if they're quality swings or not. I wasn't trying to blast the ball, gentlemen. I was not trying to blast the ball. I was trying to just hit the ball up the middle, 5-6 hole, and then down the line. And then I would try to blast like 2 of them out of the 10. And that's it. If I didn't blast them, I would not say one more. Ever. Not one more. No, I'm done. Right? Trying to get my mental thing going. I would tell myself this is what I wanted to end on. It's not up there being lackadaisical. And your whole demeanor should change. Because you're playing Worlds, right? Your whole demeanor should change. So that's the way I got prepared. But I'll talk more about this next week. I'm almost done, gentlemen. I'm going to talk about demo day next week on Wednesday. This is all stuff that's I've written down and all the bats that we have. I do want to talk about one bat tonight. And if you guys saw this, and here's the reason why. I'm a big believer in powder coat. And if you guys been with me for a while, this is true. I'm a big believer in a powder coat. I'm a big believer in matte finish. I'm not a big fan of gloss. I actually think it will add to performance if you have a matte finish bat. I've been swinging a lot of bats. My top 5, most of my top 5 with senior softball bat reviews were bats that were matte finish, because me and Bubba talked about this, Bubba Blake, when we were out there, and we talk about this, that we think it actually, and I don't know if it's the paint or it's the rotation. I think both. I think it has a lot to do with the paint on the bat, how thick it is. If you have a gloss finish, I would frown upon a gloss finish, and it's just something I've been doing for a long time, guys, and this is what I got. So when me and Jeff talked about what we're going to do, how do we tweak little things? How do we make it a little bit better on that blackout OG one-piece bat? And this bat, I'm going to show it to you here in a minute. See it? Do you see it? I'm going to show it to you here in a minute. What better person, and I do love this guy, what better person to put this bat on? And it's the 3rd anniversary Player Series Wig Popper. Isn't that a bad ad? Look at that bat, man. That is a badass bat right there. And looky here, Mr. Sean Thompson. What an ambassador. And I talked to Jeff about this. What an ambassador for senior softball. Fuck senior softball. He's an ambassador for Short Porch. That's his bat. That's his new bat right there. I'm going to give you the numbers, Dennis, on the 27.5. Right here. Right. That is a beautiful matte finish bat. It's different from what I heard. I haven't hit it yet because I just got it today. This is a 27.5. What I've heard is the sound is a lot more distinct, which I think the sound on the OG, right? And this is not, you don't see OG on this thing because it's not an OG. It's a different line. It's not a repaint. It's a different line. And it's got that matte finish. It's louder when you hit it. And I love the way the OG sound when you hit it, right? So we're going to hit it next week, next Tuesday. I think we're going to hit again, and next Thursday, we're going to hit it again. But I do love the way this bat, and there it is, Kevlar. You can see it all right there. This bat just got released, Jen, I think today, right? Yesterday. And I think they came in yesterday. They released, and I think they're up on the website. But this is there you go. But it's Sean Thompson, a great ambassador for Short Porch and senior softball. This is the 27. A compression test right at 200. Okay, guys. I cannot wait to swing this bat. The end load on 27.5, 16. It's a 16.5 on the end, and it's got 10.2 on the hands. I couldn't hardly read that. 16.5 on the end, 10.2 on the hands at a 200 compression. But guys, another thing too, so it's almost like a counterweight, but it's a 12-inch. Now here's the deal, and I don't want to get long into this. It's a counterweight, but it's a 12-inch, so it's going to get a little bit of a whip on you. So the MOA is a little different. But I cannot wait to swing this. It's got a matte finish. I'm going to try to talk Jeff into turning these, the ones that on the OGs and the matte finish, but that won't be till next year. But these bats will be here for a long time, and we're almost sold out of those too. But definitely, that is a badass bat. Congratulations, Sean Thompson. No better person. And I didn't answer you back today because when you text me, but that's what I was going to tell you. And I actually forgot to push send, but no better person than you. A great ambassador for Short Porch and for the seniors out there. Humble, don't talk much, and you just get out there and rake it. I love that shit. You guys, but definitely we have bats to fit everybody. I'm going to get off right now. I'm going to go grab something to eat. But one thing, you guys, and I'm sorry, Bob, I seen you on here a minute ago. I'm going to kind of go through these. I don't have your bat. You're going to have to give, we're going to have to get Clem to talk about that bat. This bat, it pressed the shit out of me. It's a 12.5-inch barrel. It actually compression testing right now at 175, guys. Now we got 300 swings on it. I think it was one of these we got 350, one the other got 300. I think this one's got 300 on it. A compression test at 175. This bat is hot and ready to go. That's Christian's Chili Dipper. There he is, my favorite guy. That's him right there. That's his Chili Dipper. It's a 12.5-inch barrel. Now the load on this too is this is a 26.5. It's got a 16.5 on the end, 9.3 on the hands. You talk about control. When you get in those 9s on the hands, that's a lot of control. So you guys like that 1/4 ounce end load? That's more toward that. Then you have, which are not for sale right now, and you have Todd Cox, Sin City. That's his right there. 12-inch barrel on that wig popper platform, right? This is a compression test, and they all have all the bats I'm showing you, other than Sean's. These two bats, Christian's bat. This one has that grip spin on it, and on the knob, like I can barely turn it. And this is on that wig popper platform. This one's made for Vegas. You can see it right there. And this is Todd's bat, 12-inch platform. This bat is at a 200 compression, and we hit the shit out of this bat, and it's at a 200 compression. Listen to these numbers. This is a 26 ounce. It's got 1690 and 8.5 on the hands, guys. That's your typical wig popper numbers right there on that 26 ounce. That's it, guys. I'm done. Great group of people tonight. Great group of people tonight. And I'll see you again on next Wednesday and next Friday. I want to talk more about what I have right here on my plate about getting prepared. And what I'd like to do with, me and Tammy might do this too. I thought about that. Thanks, Jen. Me and Tammy talked about this last week, was good places to go eat in Vegas. And I kind of want to put those in there. We're going to get something together, maybe get her to join me, because Jeff gets Leslie to join her. I'm kind of bringing the big guns to help me, because she likes to eat good food out of Vegas, and just the places that we've been going through. I've been to Vegas for 15 years every year, and just talk about the places that we go eat when we're there. That would help a lot of you guys that want to go to those little places, all the big places we've been there too, to eat at those, and what kind of food we expected or what kind of food we got. Carmine's. Is there Carmine's in Vegas? I think that one, some of the best out there. You get what you pay for. They had a lot of food on the plate. I think it's Carmine's in that mall. We'll talk about that too. But I'll see you guys again next week.